Just look at it. It's forest business detective here. Today my rain, but we have no fear. It's the point of the half year. Arrow to the knee, spear in the haystack type of game. I said to you that just forget learning about those computers. I'm doing exactly that. I mean, not forgetting about it, but trying to learn about them. And I feel that all of what I read just goes over my head. But I'm gonna go through a legendary computer science book called the SICP by MIT. It would be the most gladly, hilariously funny stuff if somebody really at some American, elite college or what are these called, elite schools, came to know about this dude in the Finnish forest jumping around like a bunny. Yeah, computer science, but computer science, what is it really about? What are the different facets of computer science? Well, there's programming, there's programs, there's networks, there's hardware, there's computer security too. But all you nerds over there, I deem it a mistake to put all that money into expensive computer hardware and just ignoring the clothes. Just wearing the cheapest college pants type of game. So look at this outfit. Just look at it. Check out these pants. I got them like 2 years ago. They're still relevant today. Back to that computer stuff. I try to lay out kind of a map for you where you could be learning about the book SICP, which is a very known and highly esteemed computer book. It's about computer programs. It's about how computer programs work on the theoretical level. And what I gathered from the book up to this point is that the examples are written in a programming language that was developed at MIT called Scheme. Why I read books like this is not especially because I want to become something. And reading because of that, I have done it. But at the moment, I'm just trying to get a wide scope of understanding from all kinds of fields. I'm also reading a book called Modern Magic. That's a magic that deals with spirituality and Kabbalah, this kind of high-level stuff. And in that book it was interesting because in the Kabbalah you have those spheres or those ketters. And in that book he explained that in the Kabbalah you can have in each sphere another Kabbalah in there. So if that book, the MIT, the Interpretation and Structures of Computer Program, SICP, if that deals with the structure of computer programs, then the Kabbalah, it deals with the structure of reality and also the human psyche too. So let's not get so delving deep into those computer stuffs that we forget where we are doing that from. But now let's change our subject and start talking about dream journaling and dreaming. So with a dream journal, what is the goal over there? The goal of the dream journal is to make your dreams so simple. I mean, putting them down so simple that you actually do it. The goal of your dreaming journal is to make you dream better. And the goal of the dreaming journal is to also learn how to describe. You shouldn't have a separate dream journal and a separate journal. Instead, do it in one notebook so that you start from the back or the end and you go to the middle with the dreams. You go from the front or the start to the middle with your regular journaling about waking stuff. This dream, it happened somewhere in Middle East. I think there was this Muslim guy and he went on a balcony of this tall building and he had this cigar I was smoking that cigar there, but it smelled like weed. Then some guys from the opposite side of that building started shooting AK-47s down at us on that balcony. They just opened fire, and this guy just casually shot a couple of bullets there with the AK-47 on his one hand. Then this fucking chopper, like an American type of motorcycle, rode from the top of the opposite building roof there down and smashed through the fucking wall of the building we were in. And in that craziness I went into some room and blocked myself in there so that nobody could get in. And I had a camera with me. This camera, and I made a little video there. But then that guy, the cigar smoking dude, he broke in to the room and said that we have to leave this place fast. And there was this staircase, like a spiral staircase, and I just grinded down the rail of that spiral staircase like in some Tony Hawk. And there on the railing is read with certain intervals or rhythms this clothing manufacturer name, Paul Smith. It just read that on their railing with look at my chains. But when we got to the lowest floor of this luxurious building, I saw a couple of like African American very attractive women just like walk there past, and the Muslim dude just vanished somewhere, and I was going into this toilet there, and in the toilet there was a dude with a suit on, and I ended up peeing on his suit, and then I woke. When I title my videos, I always happen to have a notebook and a Parker jotter with me, and I feel that the name of this video is going to be Forest Business Detective. Forest Business Detective on reading the SICP and keeping a dream journal. Great, now sitting over here, even though it's this kind of a day with dark clouds. That's an old video game, by the way. Yeah, Dark Cloud. Yeah, something about cross-industry overlap. So, in human endeavors, computer science, it's related to a lot of stuff. But more than that, when different industries, they overlap, novel ideas can come out of that. I had this megalomaniac idea of doing art in a server room or server farm. It would happen like so: I would go into a server farm or a server center, computer center, and I would have my fancy clothes, I would have LED lights, and I would have cameras. I would do photography, long exposure time out of that, and make art as I have done in the past. Make a whole video of that. Maybe we could also do a little expert talk on that server stuff, that server hardware and software, with some guru there. It could look something like two suit men, and I would ask a couple of stupid questions. And one of the reasons I also try to understand that book SICP is because of this modern art project that I have. I have an idea for this modern art installation piece where you would have a computer code, but it would be so that it's not on a screen, but on these moving arms you would have the letters and that kind of stuff, the brackets, and it would change the computer code, and you could probably go behind this installation too. LED lights there, and I would also use that for long exposure time, taking pictures there. That idea came about because of cross-industry overlap with the arts and the computer sciences. What I feel is that you shouldn't be too hard on yourself if you cannot learn something. It's great to be influenced by a lot of stuff and to keep your curiosity for different fields of human endeavors. Create these connections over there. I think that's how visionaries have been. Visionary people are like this. They just see those connections that nobody else sees. And why that's interesting, it's because just the same with the structures in computer programs. I think visionary people look for the structure more than they look for the content of it. And also a kind of abstract way of thinking for anybody who wants to be self-taught and become quite original. Learn skills. Learn skills. But on top of that, gain cross-industry overlap understanding of many fields. Don't just be versed in the fields that you have your skills in. So it's about how I'm going to fit into some picture, but it's also about how everything else is going to fit into my picture. At the moment I also have a habit when I study and read. I make beats at the same time on a drum machine. I have some books that I bought 5 years ago and I never read. I'm going through those. I'm also getting a lot of new books. And from all this I take my inspiration for the videos. And I have a kind of a new program for that. And I'm trying to get the inputs to my mind, so to say, very much more sophisticated and challenging. So let's get back into computing then. What I feel is that the best inputs to your mind, you are going to get them from books. So I try to hone these programs I input into my mind. I try to make them better. And I'm realizing that if you don't put money into it, if you opt for the free, you're gonna not find the best mind food out there. Putting some money into educating yourself, it might be a really smart move, actually. It might be a really smart move. But education is not like a luxury. I would feel that education is kind of like a middle point there. If you have your basic needs and then you have education, it's kind of like in the middle. It's not really a luxury. So next, let's get into the mind food and the operating system design. So computers are your main source of information, probably what books are out there or what kind of education is out there. Do you gain that knowledge through the real world or is it through internet? If it is through internet, please consider how the operating system is designed and what the operating system wants to push to you. I feel the Apple operating system wants to push to you the entertainment bullshit and also the educative system bullshit. But there's more to life than those. So how to create a system that doesn't restrict the user, that gives the user the freedom to do bullshit choice making, to choose bullshit over great stuff, but that guides the user to the great program. This is what is good for your mind. Previously, when I have thought about computer design, I have felt that restricting the user is the only way to achieve a good system. Now I'm starting to think otherwise. There might be a way that it could be done. But where does the knowledge have to come from? What is good program? What is a good program for your mind? Where does that knowledge have to come from? I'll leave you with that question. Keep thinking about it.